right. Welcome to Deep Cuts the Game, the movie trivia podcast with great movies and great guests. Every week I bring on three interesting people, well, two and Alex, from the entertainment world, and we give them three movies and challenge them to put the most obscure actors to pull the most obscure actors they can. The deeper the cut, the more points they earn. I'm your host, Jeff Penn, and with me for the third season, Alex Young. Alex, welcome back.
Hey, Jeff, I would say nothing mean off the top, but I guess a little as always.
Yeah, that was an ad-lib mean thing there. So yeah, but don't worry, I still screwed up the intro, so I just look like an idiot anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Thank God. How are you? How were your holidays? We're back season 3 premiere after Christmas and the regular holiday season.
Yeah, we are back. It was good. Like I talked to you earlier last week or something like that, and I feel like I worked a lot of it, so it was not a super great holiday, but it's fine. I work from my house, so it's okay. What about you? What's going on?
It was good. It's that time of year where you get to catch up with your aunts and uncles and find out what conspiracies they got roped into on Facebook.
Great.
Which I heard the hottest take I've ever heard on anything. You could take this to any conspiracy theorist and be like, this is a pretty good one. So my mom, as you may or may not know, is quite spiritual. She has kind of been forever. She went to Crossing Over with John Edwards years ago, and she sometimes sees mediums, and to her credit, sometimes she's like, they weren't very good. Like, I'm not going to deal with that. Or sometimes like, that person was great. I'll see him again, 10 out of 10. So she was telling us this story over at dinner that she had been, she saw someone she'd seen a few times before, a couple weeks prior. And as you know, Jeff, my stepfather passed away rather unexpectedly over the summer. So the medium is like, he's still around and he's worried about you, but he's looking out for you. And also your grandmother still visits you, and she's really proud of you and your family and all that kind of stuff. And even your high school friend Jeremy, who passed away tragically like 50 odd years ago, he still checks in on you too. Like, you've got this big network of people that even if you can't see them, you've got this love and support that's kind of surrounding you. And if you don't know it's there, it's there. And I thought that was really nice. Like, regardless of how you feel about it, that's a nice sentiment, especially over the holidays, which is hard for people, regardless of if you're grieving. That's just like a nice thing to have on your shoulders. So here comes my Uncle John, a friend of the family, who is like, psychics aren't real, mediums are bullshit, and nobody actually talks to the dead. What they're doing is they're just reading your mind. They're just pulling, you're thinking about your husband and your grandmother, and they're just pulling that out of your head, and they're spinning it like they're talking to the spirits. And even the ones you're not consciously thinking of, like subconsciously thinking of Jeremy, they pull that one in, and they make it seem like they're talking to the dead. And I'm like, okay, John, so just to make sure that I understand what you're saying.
Ghosts aren't real.
Aren't real. But you're saying to me that all mediums are bullshit charlatans, and they pretend they have this magical power, this gift, and they are instead using a different magical power to trick you into thinking they're talking to their dead because it's more lucrative. And he's like, yep, that's about the long and the short of it.
I mean, I feel like if you could read someone's mind, you don't waste your time taking people for $100 a pop, telling them that their grandfather's checking in on them. You're winning things, betting, you're doing all sorts of, Anyway,
so hottest take I've ever heard.
I mean, I'm glad that he put some thought into it.
Totally. Because, hey, to his credit, that has never crossed my mind. So fair enough.
Yeah. Well, we have also with us, Alex, it's the birthday boy, Craig Smeaton. Happy birthday. Welcome back to season 3. I believe you joined us on episode 1 of season 2 as well.
I did not know that.
I think you did. I think it was with the film critic, Tom Ernst.
That was a good one. Yeah. We were together. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we also have another guest with us. I had a little write-up here for it, and it just sounds too formal. So I'm going to introduce him as this. I watched a TV miniseries when I was a kid that I did not know had affected me in such a way until I watched the documentary about the TV miniseries and the true story that it was based on a couple years ago. I believe it was called I Know My First Name is Steven. And I mean, if we could find it somewhere, that is a deep cut cast. There's so many people in this thing. But actor Corin Nemec, who you would know from Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and when I mentioned him to other people, they all went, "Oh, Stargate!" Like, and I was like, I completely forgot about Stargate. But we are welcomed tonight by Corin Nemec. Corin, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure to be here, sir. And
Uh,
I will be practicing some mind reading tonight. And I may channel a couple of dead people. Just it just
you
depends on where this goes. But
you
I'm
might
ready
need
for
to, yeah.
anything.
Yeah, so we don't have to go too deep into I know my first name is Steven. Actually, because I was gonna say, I believe the first thing I probably saw you in was Webster. I think you just posted something on Instagram about your time on Webster. And I was gonna ask you, like, and I know I watched Webster for a few years, and then I probably got to a certain age where I was like, it's more of a kids show kind of thing. Um, were you? And Alex always gives me a look when I say something like this. I'm like, do you look back at that and you go, were you the shark? Were you the shark that Webster jumped potentially? When they add that extra cute kid, like I think Different Strokes did it with I think Danny Cooksey when they brought him on as Sam. They're like, we need an infusion of cuteness, so they brought in the redhead kid. Do you kind of look back and go like the show was kind of winding? I think it ran 6 seasons. I think you showed up around season 5 or so.
No, I think I was in the very last season, actually,
Okay, okay.
if I remember correctly. But one of the primary issues with that show was that Mam and George, they used to be married in real life,
Oh
and
yeah.
somewhere around season 4 or whatever season, or maybe part of season 5, sometime right before the last season, they got divorced, and they could not stand one another, and they still had to play married on the show. And it was really a difficult show as far as the production went. They became extremely difficult to work with. I don't know how they were before the divorce, but after the divorce, it was very complicated. And when I came onto the show, they had also had to stop shooting in front of a live studio audience, and that takes a lot away from a sitcom like that. But they had to do that because they would get into these frightful arguments, and they had they had locker mouths, they locker room
Mm.
mouths, and they used
Oh
a
yeah, he
lot of
was
profanities
former
and
football
terrible
player,
name
right?
calling
Yeah.
with each other. Yeah, and there'd be families up there with their children and everything, and there'd be F bombs and B bombs and S bombs and all the bombs. It was bombs over Baghdad there, and so that was, I think that was another aspect of it too. They probably could have milked it longer, but I think that on the production side, the executive producers, everybody, I think they were just over it at that point. It was just too complicated of a working environment for them.
That's crazy. I kind of forgot that they were married. But yeah, that is
They would have
that's
liked
a
to have
tough.
forgotten that too.
Yeah, that's a tough situation, especially as you as a young actor to come in and kind of be like, all right, I'm going on this like kind of like big hit TV show, and like you get there and it's not a happy set to work.
Yeah,
So
it was one of the worst working experiences of my life. No, there's absolutely no doubt. It was extremely difficult. If it wasn't for Manny, Emmanuel Lewis, and the other kids that were on the show, he was such a great guy. I was on the show, I think when I was 13, turning 14, or I turned 14 during production or whatever. But um when I was on the show, he was already 18 years old. I mean, so it's hard to believe when I was looking back at some of the photos from it. I'm like, wow. I mean, that's what an odd whatever he had, whatever that is. I mean, permanent childhood, it was just peculiar, because I had to really watch myself to not treat him like he was like a 6-year-old. Even though I was very young,
mm,
I wasn't childish in many respects, and so I recall really making sure that I treated him as somebody who's older and wiser than I was, and we got along great.
I was thinking about that show and Different Strokes to a certain extent. I wondered if they ever did they ever address their genetic thing that they were born with? I don't remember either one of those shows really ever being like, Webster's got to go to the hospital. We got to see what's going on. They just kind of like, he's always
Aging. What is this?
yeah. Every season they would bring in a new group of kids to be like their friends, and they would always just kind of be around the same size or a little bit bigger, right? Like they never really been like, well, yeah, there was never a very special episode of Webster where they went to the doctor and talked about Webster's like, whatever, his liver or whatever that was causing him to
No,
not grow.
the whole idea behind that is because they have an ageless, kind of timeless character there, so they don't,
Mm.
you don't have to worry about the show growing, them growing out of the show. It's they could just stay right there in the pocket, and that I think it was Mamma George who grew out of the show.
Yeah, he was like the real life Bart Simpson, essentially, right? It was like this, essentially kind of like a cash cow where you're like, all right, we got a kid who can play 8 forever kind of thing, right? So
Totally, and he did really well. He was very smart. He had a very close knit family. They were out of Atlanta, and all his Webster money was going towards franchises and apartment buildings and a lot of real estate investment and all of that. I ran into him, oh man, maybe in the early 2000s at some event at Universal Studios that he just happened to be at. It was peculiar, and when I saw him, we had a nice chat and everything, and he made sure to let me know that he did very well for himself, and makes far more money now than he was on the show. So it was great to know that because some of the Hollywood stories of young actors getting taken advantage of, and their earned wealth at such young ages is squandered before they're even 28. It's gone. They're back to the basics. So it was really wonderful to see that his family didn't take advantage of him, and the people working with him didn't take advantage of him. And then also, he obviously he was older, so he was probably a lot sharper too at that time, because he
wasn't an 8-year-old.
So.
He wasn't getting taken advantage of by the time he was 18. He was kind of like, hey, where is this money going, and can I see it, not just like trusting everyone. So we were 100%. Talking before we started recording, and I went back just to watch a couple of episodes of Parker Lewis, because I'm in Canada, and I grew up in the country, so we did not have cable where I live. So I think Fox came in very blurry, very static.
You had a lot of snow, eh?
It was, but I think the network up here, I think Global carried it, so you could catch it on Global. But even then, I don't think it was a great reception. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a Sunday night show. So, and I think there was a lot more of the family was competing for the TV on Sunday night. So I probably didn't catch it all the time. So I kind of went back to it, knowing I remembered the show, I remembered the premise of the show, and I watched the full first season over the course of the last 3 days. And I was talking about like how good it is and how well it holds up. And I'm just curious, like, you had come from, I know my first name is Steven, and you've done some movies and you did some other shows and stuff like that. But how do you get this role as Parker Lewis? Was it like a hot commodity, or were they looking for kind of a fresher face, so to say?
Well, I got the part mainly because I did a TV. It was supposed to be a pilot for a new series. It turned they released it as a TV special for CBS called "What's Alan Watching," playing the lead character of Alan, and that was an Eddie Murphy Productions CBS show, and the character that I played, we broke the fourth wall in that. I talked to the audience. There was some weird fantasy sequences that took place in it, and I played kind of a quirky. I mean, my character was far more quirky than on Parker, but I played this kind of quirky, animated type of guy, pretty high energy. And Clyde Phillips was over at CBS at that time as a writer showrunner. He did Houston Nights for CBS shortly before we did What's Alan Watching, and then he was assigned by CBS to come up with a teen angst comedy, half-hour comedy back then. This is before Ferris Bueller even came out, and he saw What's Alan Watching, and he was like, that's breaking the mold. That's like taking formats and standards and all of that, just crumbling them up, throwing them out the window, and just doing something completely original, completely wild, completely out there. And so he created Parker Lewis. I mean, actually, basically with me in mind, to a greater degree as the character. And he was hoping, when What's Alan Watching didn't get picked up, he was hoping that they would pick up Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and then he could just snatch me up and put me in there, since I was already approved at CBS. So CBS ended up passing on Parker Lewis, and the rights reverted back to him and Lon Diamond. And then I don't know if it was about 3 or so years later that, or 2 years later or so, the Ferris Bueller came out, and the huge success of that. And then Fox Network was launching, a full slate of programming, and he had the opportunity to pitch to Fox this show, and Fox was the perfect network for it at the time. So they saw the show, they liked it, they picked it up, at least for the pilot episode, and then we got the back 12 or whatever, and then you got the full season, but first season. And so it was really an offer. They called me up and asked me if I wanted to do it. Oddly enough, I thought it was a sitcom, and because of my experience on Webster, I wanted nothing to do with it. And also, I had just starred in this huge, almost $100 million budget sci-fi movie called Solar Crisis that hadn't come out yet. And that was with Jack Palance and Peter Boyle, and Tim Matheson was playing my dad in that, and Charlton Heston, and just an incredible group of actors in that, legends, And Richard Sraffian was directing it, who was very well known at the time, and did an incredible job on Vanishing Point, one of an all-time classic, cult classic movie. But and this movie was just epic. I mean, it was just a huge budget, and thank God I took Parker Lewis, because it came out and just flopped. And it's actually a really good film, but it just flopped. I don't think people were really vibing the sci-fi thing at the time, and the distribution it got was pretty lukewarm. And I mean, it was #1 movie in Japan, I can tell you that. So but so I was expecting to have this big movie career after Solar Crisis hit the screen. And but so I was talking to Clyde Phillips, Lon Diamond, Robert Lloyd Lewis, and about playing Parker Lewis, because I had turned it down several times when they made the offer. And they finally were like, look, let us get him in the room, let us tell him what we're going to do with this, and let us calm him down, because this isn't a sitcom. So I finally went in and I sat down with them and chatted with them, and they explained that it was going to be shot like 3 O'Clock High with Casey Shamasco, and I was a huge fan of that movie.
Yeah,
and
love that one.
The camera itself was going to be kind of like a character, and it was going to be very wild. It was going to be breaking all the rules, a lot like What's Alan Watching. And as soon as they said a lot like What's Alan Watching and 3 O'Clock High as a teen comedy, I was like, oh, I totally get it. This is MTV generation, fun. And I immediately signed on board, and I'm very glad I did, and again, those first 2 seasons were just epic. They were hilarious. The shows were outrageous. We had incredible guest stars and cameos, and it was just so much fun to make. And then when Rupert Murdoch sold Fox Television, he kept Fox News obviously, but he sold Fox Television after that kind of second season, that there was a change of the guards on the executive side, and a whole bunch of new executive producers came in. They cleaned house, which I think is always a terrible idea when you have a network that's new and upstart and doing so well and innovative. And they just got rid of all the people who came up with that, and so the new guys that came in, they realistically, our show was very expensive to shoot. It was costing us as much or sometimes a little bit more per episode than 90210. And we were 30 minutes shorter with a smaller cast, and it was still costing, pretty much just as much. And they were looking at our numbers and decided that, well, if 90210 is making these kind of numbers and you guys are making, you know, these kind of numbers, which we were still doing well. But again, like you said, there was it was a time period when actually it was a time period when there was actually more like two televisions started entering the households in the 90s. There was the kids TV in the basement or in
Yeah.
some other room, and then there was the parents TV, and they were still basing it on Nielsen ratings. And then also the college market was huge for us, dorm parties watching the show and all that stuff. But they were looking at the Nielsen ratings, which was only judging by what the parents were watching, you know,
And
on
they
the
were
main
watching
TV in the
60
house,
minutes
and
or
not,
whatever. Yeah.
or whatever else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fair. Our ratings. I mean, I knew our ratings were way bigger than they were telling us because I was doing, you know, these college campus tours and the PR tours during the hiatus and stuff. And the show out of people who loved the show and the amount of fans that were out there that I was seeing on the streets and how recognizable I was at the time. You know, I was like, it's impossible that our show is not doing way better than they're aware of. But you know, they forced the change on the dynamics of the show in terms of, you know, they got rid of Lemmer, Miss Musso's henchman, which was just an absolute crime. And they gave Parker, you know, a regular girlfriend who was always his girlfriend. He wasn't this, you know, guy who had different girlfriends all the time. And they got rid of all the weird antics, and they got rid of Jerry's jacket and you know, the hidden rooms behind the lockers, and it just became this sort of like milk toast half hour, you know, comedy about teen angst. And you know, that's when our actual ratings certainly started to take, you know, a plummet because people were loving the show because of what it was. And then when they saw the show third season, they're like, dude, we'll just watch 90210, you know. But you know, so unfortunately, even though we did what, like 73 or 78 episodes out of those 3 seasons, we were just on the cusp of that low number that they want for syndication. But you know, once we went off the air, I assumed that it would drop into syndication and do pretty well. But USA Cable picked it up for syndication. They ran all 3 seasons basically back to back, like in like less than a year. It was like on every day after school or something, you know, and they burned through it really quickly. And then it just disappeared from American television altogether until Sony put it on their Crackle site. And even then Crackle was like, who was watching Crackle? Me and David Faustino, we created a series. It was their first original series for Crackle. And we got tremendous views, but the show was so offensive that they decided not to renew us. But we did a short form season. We did a 12 episode season for them, which the viewers loved it. The executives were like, we're going to get sued. So but it was you know, so it was a drag over in Europe. Parker Lewis was a huge hit. It ran all the time. Every couple of years it was running. They just relaunched it in France again, you know, just a couple of months ago. And now obviously it's on Plex. You don't get Plex or you don't get the show on Plex in Canada, from what you said earlier. But Plex, they just started airing it on Plex as well. So there is some, you know, there still is interest in the show. It hasn't just, you know, gone the way of Mr. Ed or something, you know what I mean? But
and it's funny. I was going to say, like, you reference shows within Parker Lewis. Like, I think there's a joke about Erie, Indiana.
There is a joke about Mr. Ed, actually. Yeah,
and there's a
Mr. Ed thing.
There's a joke about another high school show, I think, where you're like, oh, like they could use some help with their choreography or something like that. And it was like, I don't even know what show you're talking about. It was like Hill High or something like that. And I was like, I don't even know that one. And I was just like, I watched, like you said, in that first season, not that you go through, but you have about 10 different girls that you kind of date. For a guy who's like so heartbroken and can never get a girl, I was like, this guy in the pilot, you date Mila Jovovich. You know,
I went to real high school with her too.
Oh, did you really? Yeah. So you'd like date her in the pilot. We never see her again. There's, you know, the girl that runs for like student council. We see her like twice, and I'm like, this guy. And there's like, you do it like a nice like little homage to the Heathers movie. There's the girl in the mall that you make out with a couple times. There's it's just I'm like, wow, this guy's the Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah. But I was looking through some of the cameos, and I didn't even like you said, there was Weird Al Yankovic shows up just to play piano for an episode.
Yeah, we had Ozzy Osbourne.
I wasn't sure. Was that was really
we had Elvira, in an episode. I think that might have been season 2 or so. We had
Barbara Billingsley shows up.
When I've gone back and rewatched some of it, sometimes I'm shocked. I think Weird Al was in 2 episodes actually, but it was just so cool to be working on a show that was so groundbreaking and got to meet all these rad people. Alice Cooper was in an episode as well.
Yeah, and there's the one episode where I can't remember which. Oh, it's Robin Lively is the girl you're trying to convince to ask you to the Girls Ask Guys dance. So you're giving the whole school a pep talk on self-esteem, and you rattle off. I think you take shots at Prince, Madonna, and Arsenio Hall. But
that lost me.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh, that's got to be tough for like a young guy to take shots at them, even though you always end up. Really, what do they got? Confidence.
Yes, but I said Arsenio Hall. He's big gums and big buns, and I was actually supposed to go on Arsenio Hall the Monday night after that show aired. And when he got wind of what was said in the episode, which I didn't think was that brutal, I think it would have been kind of funny if we had addressed it on his show. But he canceled me from the show, like I had anything to do with the writing. But he canceled me from the show, so I never got to be on Arsenio Hall, which is a huge drag because that was like the show to be on back then, and I was super stoked.
There's so much stuff I want to I think with the other kid, because so playing you in I Know My First Name is Steven, the young version of you is Luke Edwards, who I know mostly from then he shows up on Parker Lewis as young Jerry. So it's just like lots of little I think Shannon Tweed, Harry Anderson, Phil Hartman, Ryan Stiles, like everybody. Like it's one of those.
Tweed. Wait a second.
Shannon Tweed was in an episode. So
yeah. That was like the homage to the that movie with Dustin Hoffman back in the day.
Graduate.
About
The Graduate.
his infatuation with The Graduate. Yeah.
The one thing I want to ask people like you who like kind of worked a lot in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that. Was there a Hollywood, was there not a nemesis, but there was someone when you're going for casting call, was there a person that you're like, oh shit, Will Wheaton's here again or something like that? Was there someone that you were kind of felt like was your competitor as an actor?
Man, some of my good friends growing up, David Arquette and Stephen Dorff and Jason and Jeremy London, those guys, and Eric Dane and obviously Brian Greene, although we didn't really audition for the same roles too much, but those other guys I named, plus a slew of other ones, we were constantly bumping into each other in the halls of the casting world and all of that stuff. And it was just one of those things, that you got to put that out of your head and not think of it as so much competition or nemesis or anything like that, but just like, you would actually kind of root like, hey, if I don't get it, I hope you get it, But the audition process back then was a lot more fun than it is now. It's all digital now, everybody, any auditions I do, they're done from my laptop or my phone or whatever, and I don't get to really see anybody. I just upload them to some cloud somewhere and just hope for the best. It's not like when there was an opportunity to go in there and break the mold of who they thought you were or what kind of person they might have thought you were, because there's always assumptions in Hollywood. And when you get to walk in a room, become a character, show them what you can do, make adjustments if they want them on the spot, they're like, oh yeah, I liked that, but try it like this. And when you're able to make those adjustments and really deliver, there's a lot of roles that I got, especially in those younger years, that I probably wouldn't have gotten if I didn't audition for them. Including Drop Zone, which turned out to be it started out as a really small role and it grew into a much bigger role in that movie with Wesley Snipes, and Operation Dumbo Drop. Obviously,
Mhm.
my audition for that, definitely got me that part, and Stephen King's The Stand, having the opportunity to actually be in the room, because Mick Garris, the director of The Stand, I had auditioned for him for Sleepwalkers a number of years before, and I didn't have the right physical build for the character, and they went with Brian Krause, who's a buddy of mine as well. I think he did a great job, and it was good casting. But Mick was really a big fan of mine, and he was hard pressed to convince Stephen King that I could play this role, because when you read the character description in the book and then you looked at me, you're like, no. So but being able to get in there in the room and become that character convinced Stephen King, and he was like, yeah, totally, I get it. He can be the character, and I got that job. So there was a lot of roles that certainly propelled me forward in my career that just wouldn't have landed on my desk, had I not had the chance to audition for them. Because again, the role in Drop Zone, Wesley Snipes, was like, I think the original script, it had like 2 scenes or something, and then like a couple of high paid background extra scenes where I'm just kind of there or whatever. And but I really went in, and I sort of improv'd a bit in the audition with John Badham, because there wasn't a lot on the page, and so I sort of extrapolated on a couple of things, and I really embraced the how passionate this guy was for skydiving, and then that role ended up becoming 3 or 4 times as big as it was scripted to be, and the character was supposed to die in the end, and they ended up not letting the character die because they liked the character so much. So there's things like that just if I wasn't willing to go and audition for it, because it was such a small role, but I was such a huge Wesley Snipes fan. I just told my agents, I was like, dude, you have to put me up for this. I have to go in for this, because I just want to work with Wesley, even if it's for a freaking day. And we ended up becoming pretty good friends after that. I ended up hanging out with him quite a bit for many years after we did that production together. He's a great guy.
Well, I could go on more, but I don't want to keep you all night. So I think we're going to have to jump into a game of deep cuts, but I got some more questions for you as we get into the game. So the first thing we do is we decide who's going first, second, or third. So we play a little thing. We just call it the IMDb game. So I'm going to give you guys a name of an actor and actress, and you're going to try to tell me what is they're best known for on IMDb. The closer you are to getting number 1, you can decide if you want to go first, second, or third. Okay. So Corin, as our number 1 guest tonight, I'm going to tell you the name, and because it's someone you worked with in the pilot of Parker Lewis Can't Lose, the actress tonight is your high school classmate, Mila Jovovich.
Oh, Mila
so,
Jovovich.
According to IMDb, what do you think is her best known for acting credit?
Wow. I mean, the Bruce Willis movie. So you guys are going to shoot me for being. I mean, I forget all kinds of things.
We all know exactly what movie you're talking about. So we'll put down the Fifth Element.
I think Fifth Element is probably way up there because it was so successful. But then that series of action sci-fi action.
Don't spoil them for other people. Because there's
here I am blanking again. I can't. It was funny because that series of movies, I don't know if it was number 2 or 3 or whatever, but I ended up going in and auditioning for one of those, for one of the characters in it, and saw Mila at the, but we all hung out in the same social circles, and I was like, hey, I'm auditioning for your movie or whatever, and everything. She's like, oh, okay, yeah. I was like, maybe she'll put in a good word for me. I didn't get the job, but what was that? It was again with an R or something.
That's all right.
Well,
Someone will
go with the Fifth Element.
Yes. Okay. Don't worry. Fifth Element's a good guess. Craig Smeaton, it's your birthday.
Okay. Thank you.
What do you think?
So do we have to say if we just say the name of the series?
I will tell
does that
you.
Count?
It would help if you knew. You don't have to say the name, but if you want to give me the number, that is fine. Because there is like 5 or 6 of
There's
these
6.
things.
There's 6
Yeah.
of those movies.
So feel free to just say
I'll say Resident Evil 1.
it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Alex Young, what's your guess?
I'm gonna just randomly pick one of them, and I'm gonna say it's Resident Evil Afterlife,
It's a good guess.
which I think is the 5th one.
It is crazy. I would
So
say
no
like
one went for Blue Lagoon too, huh?
or
of
dazed
course.
or dazed and confused.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, I know it's a small part, but it's kind of where I first
She
became
is
aware of
the
her.
lighter, doesn't she? Do the thing
She's
with
the lighter, and she
Yeah.
paints the kiss faces on the
Or
statues.
Perfect Getaway. She's really good in Perfect Getaway.
Well, Corin was right with the Fifth Element. Craig,
Hey,
Resident
hey.
Evil number 1 is number 3 on
Hey,
her
yo.
list.
Oh wait.
Number 4 on her list is a movie called The Fourth Kind.
Oh,
Which-
that movie's awesome.
Is
Huh.
it? Okay.
Yeah, it's really
And-
scary.
But number 2 is Resident Evil Afterlife. So Alex, you were actually second. But Corin, would you like to go first, second, or third in our little game of
You
deep
know,
cuts?
I'm just gonna go ahead and go first because I know I'm probably going to just ham this whole thing up. So I might as well just get it over with.
That's
Dive
all
in.
right. Alex, where would you like to go? Second or third?
You know what? I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna go second this time
Alex
and
at 2.
saddle Craig in the third.
All right, and Craig in third. And so what happens is we go 1, 2, 3, and then we go back 3, 2, 1. So after you do your first one, Corin, you'll have some time to think about it. But right now, I'm going to give you the names of the 3 movies we're working with tonight. So, like I said, one of them is a film you were in. So from 1988, Tucker, The Man in His Dreams.
Uh-huh.
A movie that I think was close to your heart from 1985, The Goonies. And from
Mhm.
1986, because there's a little bit of crossover from both of these movies, Stand By Me. So take a moment to think about who was in these films, the deep cuts, especially for Corin. If you can go further down, you can go in that cast list, especially for something like Tucker, the more points you'll get. And we'll take a moment and hear a word from our sponsors.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
Turn your dial to find the frequency of the past. Where the classic stories of mysteries, sci-fi, thrillers, and suspense are found waiting to be heard once again.
Another case for Nick Carter, Master Detective.
You'll find a variety of those stories here, in their original form, where each episode takes you to another place or time,
The Man of Bronze, Doc Savage.
but only when you find the mystery frequency. Available everywhere.
The shadow knows.
Welcome back to Deep Cuts the Game. We've got Corin Nemec with us, Craig Smeaton, my co-host Alex Young. The movies tonight are Tucker, The Man in His Dream, The Goonies, and Stand By Me. Alex, this is the first time we've actually ever reused a movie.
What are we reusing?
We're using The Goonies. We did
Boy.
probably in season 1, and Stand By Me we did at some point. So we've definitely used them before, but it's obviously it's been a long enough that you don't remember. So
Yeah, I'm not feeling confident about
and,
those
and
movies.
Alex was born after all 3 of these movies came out, so he did not see any of them in the theater. So but first up, Corin, from any of these 3 movies, and I know the reason I took The Goonies was because I know it was one of the movies that kind of inspired you to get into acting, and I believe your dad worked
Yeah, my
on
dad was art director on it. Yeah.
yeah, so hopefully you've got some memories of that one, but also from Tucker. So what would you say is your deepest, the most obscure? So we're talking about someone who does not have many scenes or is a lesser known actor from any of these 3 movies.
Ah. Wow.
try to-
well,
don't
let's
give me the
see.
star.
There's,
Yeah. Now I know, I don't want to give you any hints or anything, but yeah, go for it. What do you got? And remember, if you can't remember the name,
I can't remember their name. I mean, what was that? It wasn't. Gosh, what is that actor who from Goonies? Can't remember his name. Who was one of the bad guys? But
You can give us anything else they're in also, and that's fine.
I will.
I mean, we'll just say I'll just go with Josh Brolin on that one.
All right.
Um,
Not a lot of points for
and
Josh
then
Brolin,
I'll-
Corin, but that's okay. So 2 points for Josh Brolin.
All
2
right.
points.
Kiefer Sutherland and Kiefer Sutherland.
Don't say him.
Stand By Me.
Don't spoil. Hold on to. You might need that one for later in the game. So we're gonna jump now to Alex.
Oh,
Alex, what's your
sorry.
first? No worries. It's cool.
My bad.
It's your first. It's our 81st episode. It's your first. It's okay. Alex, what's your first deep cut?
I have only one actual deep cut, which I
Okay.
think is medium deep. So from Tucker, which I really enjoyed. And I also, at the end, I'm like, this is a true story?
I know.
These
I
cars
was
are
like,
fucking
because
real?
I think later on as I got
Oh, I
through
didn't
life.
say my Tucker name though.
No, you can use that one later on. You can come back to it and do Tucker the next time through.
No, I didn't even do I didn't even do Tucker yet.
That's all right.
Okay,
Hold on
go
to
ahead.
it.
Sorry.
Yeah, you get. Yeah,
You can use any of the movies. You can do them all from Tucker if you want.
And take advantage of that deep knowledge that no one else knows.
Yes, yeah, that extra that was on the set for one day.
I've forgotten it all.
Alex, what do you got?
I'm going to take Mako, who I know as Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, Mako. He was like one of the engineers.
rascal.
Yeah, I know him from like Conan the Barbarian kind of thing. That's where I know him from. Mako for 8 points. Alex, 8 points.
Great.
Craig Smeaton, you get 2 in a row. So what is your?
Okay, I'm
first
going to
and second
go,
deep?
and I'm so glad I was proud of myself because I said, you know what? I remember. I used to love the trailer. I remember, so I remember Tucker pretty. So I don't need to watch it again. And last night I went, I just give it another watch again. So I know there's a crossover because I noticed that, and I think I would have known his name with Marshall Bell. I think his name is.
Yeah, Marshall Bell.
He's
is,
the PR guy in Tucker, and
Yep.
he's the not very nice dad.
Yeah, he is.
Stand By Me.
Yeah, he's the dad of one of the kids.
Yeah.
So he's 12 points for both movies, Craig.
Whoa.
So
There you
you're
go.
gonna
And I
get
worked
20.
with him on Operation Dumbo Drop.
I was gonna say
Oh,
there was a
he's in
lot
that-
of
well, he's in everything. I mean, his
Yeah.
list must be.
yeah. He's a great like deep cut actor because he's like shows up everywhere, right? Yeah. So Marshall Bell. He's
Totally.
also in Total Recall as
Yeah, he's the guy who opens up his. Yeah.
Plateau, and then he's in Starship Troopers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
As well. So Craig, you get a second one, and then we'll go back.
Oh
up to
yeah.
Alex.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with a name that I did remember is Don Novello, Father Guido Sarducci in Tucker.
That's right. He's making the documentary about Tucker, and I wouldn't have recognized him. It's his voice.
Yeah, it's the voice. Yeah.
Once
And
he starts
he's in-
talking,
I remember I noticed him, and I think he's in Godfather 3 too. I'm pretty sure.
so yeah, Don Novello for 13 points.
And so many. That's the funny back and forth with him and the crew. Like, oh no, we got it. Like, we didn't get it. Like, it's so funny.
I was going to say, I went to one time when we were in California, we went to Coppola's winery north of
wow.
Sonoma, and he's
Mhm.
got, I think he's got one of the cars there. Like he's got one of the Tucker cars.
I think he's got three or four of them.
Yeah, he's got, and so he's also got the desk from The Godfather. And I didn't really, I was more impressed by the desk. The car looked neat. I didn't really understand the historic significance of it at the time, but I can say that I have seen it in person. So, Alex Young, what is your second deep cut?
I'm glad you guys were talking about Coppola because that reminded me the dude that they are surveilling from the conversation is in Tucker. He's one of the engineers.
Yes.
Frank.
Frederick.
Something. Same starts with
I
an
know
F.
who you're talking about.
I might have to look that one up.
It's
Brain
Frederick
Gap.
Forrest, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that sounds right.
yeah.
He's in it a bunch. He's in the
yeah.
movie a lot.
Yeah, Frederick Forrest. Yeah, because we just we talked about him because he was in.
Apocalypse Now.
No, yeah, we
Oh,
did,
yeah, he's
but,
in that too. Yep.
but we had
The
Billy
chef
Mac.
in Apocalypse Now.
We had William McNamara on, and he was in.
Yeah, he's great. I love him. Big guy.
It wasn't Stealing Home. It was the other. It was it Chasers, the one with Erica Elenick and Tom Berenger. He's in that as well.
Oh, wow.
Very very small part in it, because he was married to Mary Lou Henner, right? Like that was his.
Could not. tell.
I didn't know that either, but William McNamara knew that because they were all friends with what's his Dennis Hopper. They were all friends with Dennis Hopper. So Frederick Forrest for 6 points, Alex, because
That's
he's
fine.
like his main mechanic at the Tucker garage. Okay, Corin. So you get 2 now. You get your second and your third deep cut. So if you want to go from Tucker, I would say now is the time to do it. You can think about other people that maybe you had a scene with in Tucker, if you can remember.
No, yeah, I mean, and why his name is slipping my mind right now. He played. Oh my God, boy, you got me here. The great. He built the Spruce Goose and
What a scene.
was
Mhm.
made a lot of.
Yep.
It was. I can't remember the character name. I'm going. It's
He
Howard
played
Hughes.
Howard
Played Howard
Hughes, yeah.
Hughes.
So, can you
And
remember anything he was in, including
well,
a
he was in Stargate with me years later, but he was also in that show Quantum Leap and
Quantum Leap, and
a bunch of other stuff. But
was also in Chasers with
why
Frederick
I can't remember
Forrest
his name.
because he was also
No, there
friends
you
with
go.
Dennis Hopper. So yeah, his name's
I
Dean
didn't see
Stockwell.
Chasers.
That's okay.
Dean Stockwell, duh.
Dean Stockwell.
Velvet?
I told you I was
For,
going to hand this thing.
no, that's all right. Dean Stockwell for 11 points.
That
Yeah,
scene is so good, and
Mhm.
you're great in that scene. You got the reaction when he's like, you're trying to. It's exactly how a
It's
kid
big,
would react to that.
Yeah.
And you got the Spruce Goose, but then you got this crazy guy talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good and so well shot. That scene.
And then working
Yeah.
working again with him years later on Stargate was rad. Just that I always love coming full circle when you've been in the industry as long as I have, and you end up working with somebody that you worked with, so many years before. It's always a great experience.
So what is your third deep cut?
Oh, do I
then,
need
Corin?
another one?
You got one more right now.
Is that
Yeah.
from any of those movies or whatever?
Any of those movies, you can stick with Tucker, or you can jump around to Goonies or Stand By Me if you want.
I'm pretty sure that it was Kiefer Sutherland that had that tiny role in Stand By Me.
Yeah, he's kind of the villain,
as the older bully or whatever.
So Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah, it was a relatively small role, but
for 4 points. Yeah, he's an intimidating guy there with that like streaked blonde hair, and I think there's even a Kiefer Sutherland joke in Parker Lewis, if I remember. There's you're competing with another. Yeah, you're competing with another cool guy to see who can get the best things for the school, and one of them is to get Kiefer Sutherland to like come and like talk at a pep rally or something like that. So, Alex Young,
didn't get him for a cameo.
What's your third deep cut, Alex?
I'm just gonna keep going through all these engineers in Tucker because I want to take Canada's own Elias Koteas.
Elias Koteas, who played Casey Jones in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. Elias Koteas for 7 points.
He's a great guy.
He's always good and stuff.
Yeah, and that was a big deal. I remember when he got that. That was a big deal for him because he was an up and comer.
Corin was like, it's a Francis Ford Coppola film. So like when you get cast in that, like you're, I don't know, 16, 17 years old or something at that time. Like, are you aware of like kind of like, were you, oh shit, were you really? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you,
it was Christian Slater who was it was
16 or 17
in that.
Yeah. Were you aware of like what a big deal that was going to be potentially? Like, you know,
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. I already knew that he was a legend, and my mom was also in the arts and entertainment business. My dad too, and I was very familiar with who Francis Ford Coppola was, even at 12 years old, and understood that it was going to be a game. It was really one of the first jobs I did. I mean, previous to that, I did an episode of Sidekicks with my buddy Irv Reyes Jr. and Gil Gerard, and I did a handful of commercials, maybe 4 or 5 commercials. And sorry,
Gil Gerard I said rest in peace because he just died, didn't he?
Yeah, sad. I was really a complete newcomer at the end of the day. Once I got cast in that particular role, doors opened for me in the audition world and opportunities tremendously well before the movie even came out, because it took several years before the movie actually aired. We shot it in 86 and it didn't come out until 88.
Wow.
Craig
Even with George Lucas as a producer too, right?
Yeah, we went up there and did a softball game. I forget what George Lucas was filming at the time, but it was like our crew and cast against his crew and cast or whatever they were shooting. And we had a
Howard
great
the
time.
Duck?
I got to go into his office and check out all his stuff.
That's cool. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. Was it
Maybe
Howard the
it was.
Duck?
I don't know. I cannot remember who it was, but it was. It might have even been one of the Star Wars freaking movies, for all I know. But it might have been. But it was, that was a really cool experience to get to meet him as well. That was pretty rad.
Craig Smeaton, we have your third and your fourth deep cuts.
Okay. I noticed in watching it the other day that Michael McShane was the engineer when Tucker was doing the radio commercial, and the guy. So he was the guy who was Friar Tuck in Prince of Thieves, Robin Hood.
Wow.
Or Friar Tucker, I guess, if you're going to be under the movie. But yeah, I noticed
All
him.
Yeah, well done, Craig. That's 14 points.
Great. Thank
What
you.
what is your fourth deep cut? You can put the brakes on now, Craig. Like, you do not have
No, you know
to.
what? Because I legit, the Michael McShane was
Somebody's
one that I
done
did
some
just
research.
notice last
Somebody
night.
has Google open right now.
No, I don't. I just got my notebook. That's it. But I remembered one that I have that I don't think you're going to believe that I remembered, but I actually did. Oh, you know, I'm going to go for a swing. I'll save this one for later. I think Richard Donner is in Goonies.
He is. He's got like a cameo in it.
He's like on the beach. He's like he's driving an ATV or something on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. So the rule is it's 12 points for if you're the director and you show up in your own film, you get 12 points. So
great. I'll take it.
Yeah, Richard Donner for 12. Alex, what is your fourth deep cut? We've got 6 in total, so you don't need too many more.
Oh no.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Yeah.
I'm already out.
I'm going to say, and I might be misremembering this. I haven't seen Stand By Me in a long time. But isn't Richard Dreyfuss at the end? Is he the grown-up?
Yeah, Richard Dreyfuss is.
Different movie.
He is the narrator who is the older version of one of the characters. So he is 10 points for Richard Dreyfuss.
Right,
Alex. Now, Corin, people get mad when I give our guest a hint. I will say there is no harm in saying your own name. And there's also no harm in saying.
That's what I was going to go to. I was going to choose me for this next round. I was because as far as Tucker goes, I was so young in that, and such a small type that I could certainly be considered one of these, deeper cut type characters. So,
yeah, you're worth 9. You're worth 9 points.
Myself. See, that's I should be worth 9 points. I should be worth 90 points.
Now the question is, and people get mad when I give a hint, but do you remember who played your sister?
I was good. That's going to be my hint. You mentioned his mother already.
Casey Shamasco's
sister.
Casey Shamasco's sister. Yeah.
So
and Casey was great. Obviously, I talked about 3 O'Clock High earlier, but
that's what. As soon as you said it, I was like,
funny relationship on that set. We had a real brother sister relationship on that set. It was amusing.
So she's got less part than you do, and she's less known than you are. So she's worth 11 points. So that's a solid deep cut.
Wonderful.
Alex Young, what's your 5th deep cut?
We're already back to me, eh? Another one from Tucker. Jeff Bridges' dad is in it. Lloyd Bridges.
You know what?
Oh yeah,
I forgot.
Lloyd Bridges. That's right.
I forgot that was his dad in real life.
It was such a big deal back then.
I know, but back then I was 12. I didn't pay attention to it. So and even watching the movie, I was like, oh, it's Lloyd Bridges,
senator or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he's uncredited in the film. So, but he's worth 8 points, Alex, because he's
Jeff Bridges, the original Dakota Johnson. He's a
yes, yes. Craig, you've got your final 2 deep cuts.
Okay, I'm going to go with, I don't know so the guy who played the juror foreman, who stands up and says, "Let the man speak."
Yeah, the old guy.
Al something. Al, because he was in. I remember when I watched. This is what I did. I did remember when I watched the film in the theater. I know that guy was in Peggy Sue Got Married. He was like, he's got a funny face. He's got a very. It's like Al.
Yeah. Al Nabidian is his name. He was in the movie Jack, So I Married an Axe Murderer, Tucker, Amanda's Dream, Peggy Sue Got Married. There you go.
Yeah, he's kind of like the guy.
He's in The Conversation. So and he's in an American Graffiti. So
Barry
he must.
Levinson has got that one guy that he puts in movies all the time.
Yeah,
I think he's the version of that guy.
So he's 15 points, Craig.
15, great.
Yep.
Okay.
So what is your final deep cut to just rub it in everyone's faces, Craig?
Give me a second. I was going to do Nina Shamasco. Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't stress about putting points on the board, Craig. I think
I'm sorry I forget her name, but the woman who plays the mother, Marshall Bell's, I don't want to give away I'll say Will Wheaton's mom, I think is the mom in Footloose.
Which mom? Like Kevin Bacon's mom?
Yeah, I think so.
I'll have to. You might be right. I did not. Let me look up Footloose.
I might be getting a zero on that one because I thought I'd just go instead of,
because I was like, yeah, I'm like, I know Diane Wheats is like the main mom.
Yeah.
So Ren. Is it Frances Lee McCain?
It's possible I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay.
God damn it, Craig. Frances Lee McClain was
cue Footloose right now. Cue it. We'll pop it in.
She's also in Back to the Future, Gremlins, Stand By. She's got a great.
She's the mother, and she's the she's the main mom in what's her name's Lorraine's mom in Back to the Future. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Her IMDb top 4 is incredible. It's Back to the Future, Footloose, Gremlins, and Stand By Me.
Wow.
You know, and you'd be like, I wouldn't recognize her if she was standing in front of me, kind of thing. But she's in 4 of like the biggest 80s films that you can think of, right? So
what's your name again?
Frances Lee McClain.
Okay.
McCain.
I apologize, Frances Lee, that I forgot.
And she's still working. I think she was just recently in Better Call Saul. So she's still around. So 16 points for Frances Lee McClain, Craig.
Great.
Alex, what's your final deep cut?
How do I follow that up, Jeff?
You don't, Alex.
Kihei Kwan?
Kihei Kwan. Yes.
He's great.
Yep. Kihei Kwan for 3 points, Alex.
Great.
Now I don't know if it's going to make a whole lot of difference here to Corin. But
no, it won't. But I'm going to go with Joey Pantaleone.
That's a good one. That's
Joey
a good
Pants.
one. Joey Pants as one of the 2 villains, one of the 3 villains from Goonies. For 7 points for Joey Pants.
I've had the extreme pleasure of
before.
being.
I will say, okay, so things we maybe missed here, and Corin, you're going to kick yourself after this. So, in Stand By Me, we talked about 3 O'Clock High. We talked about Nina Zamasco. Her brother Casey is in Stand By Me as one of the bullies chasing the kids.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know if he's
right.
because
I
it's
totally remember that.
him and Gary Riley, the blonde-haired guy. They're kind of the ones that like tip the kids off that there's a body in the woods.
Yeah, I completely remember now. Yeah, that's right.
Let's see. John Cusack would have been a decent because he's got a very small cameo in Stand By Me as Will Wheaton's older brother.
So good, though.
Oh, I didn't remember. Oh, yes, I remember that now. That's right.
It's because he's dead. He's the former football player that loved Will's writing, but
that's right.
but has passed away.
Yeah.
He gives him the hat.
The Goonies.
Yep.
Cyndi Lauper supposedly is in it. I've never been able to spot her in that film, but it's an uncredited part because she did the song.
I mean, she did the song.
The song.
I think she's on TV
at all.
Oh, that's right. She's probably on TV. A good one.
Oh, that's right. She is. One of her music videos is on.
Yeah. A couple good ones here is one of the bullies is an actor named Jeb Stuart Adams, who was like in Flowers in the Attic, that the kind of the weird brother sister. And then your mom from season 2 and 3 of Parker Lewis Can't Lose, Mary Ellen Trainor,
of course,
is the mom in the Goonies. And then
that's right. I completely forgot.
And she's a deep cuts legend.
She's in Die Hard. She's in Lethal Weapon. She's in all those like Richard Donner films, right? And then the main bully Troy in Goonies is an actor named Steve Anton, who I did not know until like yesterday that he directed the movie Burlesque with Cher. Like he wrote and directed that film. So that's a good one. Alex, we were talking about Nepo babies. Not that she's very talented, but in Tucker, the Man in His Dreams, Sofia Coppola has a small cameo as like one of the girls, I think, at one of the big events. And then
I got to go on one date with her.
Oh, yeah, really? Oh, wow. And then another deep cuts legend.
Only one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
J.O. Sanders. I think he is Jeff Bridges' lawyer in the courtroom scenes. He's another good deep cuts guy. He's in like Kiss the Girls and always plays a cop or something like that.
Yeah.
So yes, that's right. Yeah. So we had a game here.
I want to know about this date though. Where did you go?
Yeah, where do you take Sofia Coppola on a date that, if you remember?
Well, it was we went to some restaurant up in San Francisco, but
her dad's restaurant.
It was most likely it was definitely Italian, I'll tell you that much. But I recall being very awkward the whole time because for whatever reason, I was in awe of the fact that I was on a date with Francis Coppola's daughter, and in my mind, I was like, oh, and I probably was not the best date that night for sure. But yeah, I saw her many times off and on over the years, and literally like every time I'd bump into her at some club or restaurant or bar in Hollywood or whatever, whenever she's there, I'll always be like, oh god, she'll look at me and go, oh, there's that guy.
Yeah,
like, Mr. Boring, unrealizing that I am truly a witty, funny guy in real life. But, yeah,
I never start ordering garlic bread.
Yeah. So the final scores: Craig Smeaton, 89 points.
God damn it.
Alex Young, 42, respectable. Corin Nemec with a late surge there by 44. So you actually beat Alex, which is respectable. So well done.
What? That's impossible. That's impossible. I thought I was gonna be like -3 or something.
No, you did great, man. I know it was tough because honestly, like, we've talked about this with other people before, and it's like we're asking you to remember people you did a movie with. Like you said, 86. So you're looking at 40 years ago, and it's like, could I remember someone that I played softball with 40 years ago? Probably not. So you did well. So the prize, Craig, is you get to suggest a future guest. Who do you think would make a good Deep Cuts guest if I can try to get them? Not everyone is as accommodating as Corin Nemec, and just say yes, just because they're a nice guy. So what do you think?
Well, can I pass it on to Corin, or I have one not noted, but yeah.
Listen, if Corin thinks there's someone he knows or doesn't know that might be a good fit for this game, I'd love to hear that as well. Corin, is there any Hollywood types that are you just like you talk to them and you're like, how do you remember these stories from when you're like a 12-year-old child actor? Is there anyone that you want to put this burden on? He's like, who do I hate?
I would probably say, yeah. Most of my friends, I think what would be funny is David Faustino, of course. He's a very close friend of mine because he would be as bad at this game as I am, and it would be hilarious to see him sweat. But he's just an all around great guy with a great attitude. We're actually set to do another film together. We had a production company together. We produced a bunch of films and the show and all that. He's probably the actor in the industry that I've worked with the most out of all of them over the years. But great guy. So I could certainly try and put you in touch with him. Not try, but I can put you in touch.
Yeah. No. There's no. Hey, we don't expect anyone to ever say yes. It hardly ever happens. Like I said, I reached out to you, not expecting even a response. Like 99% of the time, it's like no response. I'm happy when I get a, hey, thanks for asking, but it's not really something I'm looking to do right now or whatever. Or, the best ones are like, hit me up in the spring. I might not be busy then. And you hit them up in the spring and they're like, I'm still so busy. But no, you were great. What's coming up for you? You got anything you want to talk about?
They're not busy, they're lazy.
Yes.
Tomato.
What's going on with you?
Really good films coming up. I've got a bunch of films that have recently come out, and including one that I wrote and produced and also acted in called Deadly Justice, which is I know it's on Tubi, but another one called
We love
Place of
Tubi.
Bones that came out not too long ago with Heather Graham and I. It's a fantastic Western thriller. It's a really well done. And another film called Day Labor with a great director named Robert Fraser, who I have another film that's coming out later this year, and that is, oh my gosh, why am I brain farting? Wow, it totally
That'd be good to have
crazy
telephone
that I
link,
can't
too.
remember the name. It's one word. The name
It's
of the
called
movie
brain
is
farting.
one
Is that the
freaking
name of
word.
it?
Oh
Here,
Lord, I need
let's
to look
see.
at my IMDb.
I was gonna say I'll go to your IMDb real quick
Find
and see
for
it.
me, quick.
So Corin Nemec. Let's see. Nope, wrong.
And
Corin
but
Nemec.
in the meantime, while you look that up, I feel terrible. Sorry, Robert. Because I have a film
Hate
that I
is
wrote.
it Hate Thyself, or is it coming up?
No.
Okay.
It's not Hate Thyself. It's
Do you
keep
know
it
your
just like one
character's
word,
name?
like the
Maybe
name of a.
Savage.
Well, the name of the movie is the name of a. No. It's not Savage.
Okay.
It's, the name of the movie is like a girl's name. It's like one word.
Is it Myra?
Something. Myra, that's it. Jeez.
Myra. Yeah.
And very cool action adventure we shot down in Mexico together, and he's an awesome director. I'm so sorry I forgot the name of his movie because I had such a great time working on it. And I have a film that I wrote that he's attached to that we're taking out. Hopefully we'll be in production on that this year too. But and then I have a film called Kill Trip that's that will be coming out as well. That's a very interesting kind of film noir thriller. You know, it's quite interesting. It's very well
With
performed, very well
Samari
written, very well directed.
Armstrong.
Yeah,
is
Samara
your
Armstrong,
co-star.
who we did a couple of films together that I also
Nice.
was one of the producers on for Lifetime, called there we go. Thank you, everyone. It's been a great knowing you. Called Deadly Excursion, Deadly Excursion 1 and 2, but Deadly Excursion. A couple of films we did. My buddy Brian Skiba directed those. He's really great. I actually had one that came out not too long ago that I wrote with Brian Skiba called Dead Man's Hand, that stars Steven Dorff and Cole Hauser and Jack Kilmer. An action western that I adapted from a graphic novel. And it came out very cool. So I'm writing, I'm producing, I'm directing. I got some films that are that we're raising money on now. We have most of the money raised for a film that hopefully we'll be shooting in March. I can't say too much about it, but it'll be a horror comedy mockumentary. And
Awesome.
David Faustino, of course, will be in that with me, and Keith Coogan is attached to that as well.
Oh, nice.
He's awesome. We've been buddies for a while. And then we had a nice female attachment, but she got a higher paying job and was like, sorry, gotta go. But I'm working on that. We'll see what I can do, breaking out the Rolodex. But and then I know that there's a couple other movies that are sitting out there that will be coming out in the next year or so that I've done. But the main two, Myra and Kill Trip, I'm definitely excited about those. And then there's a number of other ones, but and then there's a movie that came out not that long ago too that I did that is well worth watching. And again, I completely forgot the name of it, but I would just say, everybody out there, you'll make my IMDb rating go up. Just look at IMDb, check out the list of films that I got going on and in development and whatever else, and we'll go from there.
Dude, you are busy. Yeah, you've got
fine. That was the name of it. I feel fine.
Okay. You got like 10 upcoming projects, and
yeah, and I just did a recurring character on a new TV series that hasn't aired yet called Heavy Hitters, that I hope does really well. Candace Kane, the creator of that show, did a phenomenal job with it. It's a baseball the story. This is a backdrop of the story is like, Major League Baseball, and they have MLB backing and all that. And it's a very well written piece, and I had a great time working on it. Hopefully my character will come back, who knows? But yeah, man, it's great to, be in the industry, for 40 years, and to still be working so much that I forget the names of the projects I'm working on.
All right, Craig Smeaton, do you got anything you want to tell people about? Happy birthday.
No, I mean, it's my birthday, so that's exciting. So thanks for the birthday present of the 89. I'm not 89, only 55. But yeah, so nothing. I'm just happy to, it's a gift to be turning 55. I'll say that. Yeah.
Sounds good, man. Alex Young, how about you?
Nothing for me, but you can find me on all social media, Letterboxd, Instagram, that kind of stuff at the Alex Young. Otherwise, buy your movies physically, see your movies in the theater, big multiplexes, little rep cinemas, whatever it is, just get out there, see movies with a crowd.
Cool.
Better time.
Or on Tubi, because there's lots of great stuff on Tubi, Alex. We do love Tubi.
I got tons of stuff on Tubi. Just go, put my name
just
in.
Type
Tubi
your name in
and enjoy the show. Yeah, I got tons of. I got a bunch of stuff on Tubi.
All right, so this is the part of the show where Alex sends me an outro that I've never seen before, and I have to read it sight unseen. Alex, are there any notes?
Yes, sir. I want you to read this as a medium or a psychic. You can interpret that however you choose, but I advise maybe not doing a Miss Cleo. But otherwise, you're good to go.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Since we're visual, Alex, I can add some of my acting to this.
Great.
The energy in this room is beginning to settle, so we must bring our session to a close. I can feel the vibration shifting already. Some of you are leaving with answers, and others with even deeper mysteries to ponder. This is the way of the universe, though, isn't it? Keep your third eye open and your heart guarded, but receptive. Thank you to Corin and Craig for visiting us with us today. I'm already sensing a very powerful presence for our next gathering. So be sure to follow your deep cuts anywhere you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening, and I already know you're going to have a wonderful week. Goodbye for now. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Until next time. Hopefully this recording all works.